We anticipate order flow and how we anticipate on where price going. This leg here from this high to this low is a IDR, an inducement range. IDR is a range with no fair value gaps. Alright, so this means there is no bullish order flow in this monthly leg down. Now we anticipate on price sweeping that. And when you're trading, once you have a bit of experience, you realize your candlesticks tell you a lot of stories, right? But we'll talk about that in a different video. Here we have this order block. We anticipate on price obviously make its way to that order block. After this sweep, we get the rejection, comes down to the order block, right? Now we anticipate on price either getting respected and making new highs, or being disrespected and making lower lows. Since this low to this high has no fair value gaps in this range, we anticipate on price not holding, right? As we get this rejection here, we anticipate on this order block potentially not holding, right? Rather, it will give us some shorting opportunities to take us lower. So on the monthly, we have this monthly IDR that gets swept, right? We get this internal IDR, right? Monthly IDR. And then we have this monthly fair value gap. The reason I've got this monthly fair value gap highlighted is as price doesn't respect this order block, we anticipate on price giving us short opportunities to take us lower, right? So we have this monthly IDR and this monthly fair value gap as a target. Now on the weekly, what can we see on the weekly, right? Again, we're just creating ourselves a story. On the weekly, we still get this rejection, strong rejection, followed by displacement lower. The candles here, they leave back a fair value gap. This order block on the monthly, now we can see, is this monthly order block gonna create bullish price action? Is it gonna disrespect this weekly fair value gap? Right? So now our thought process, our story can be, if this weekly fair value gap is respected, price will mostly make its way to this IDR, right? Or this volume imbalance, right? So now we have two bearish or three bearish targets on, well, we have two on the monthly and we have, I guess, two on the weekly, right? However, if price doesn't respect this and makes higher highs, right, it will let us know by obviously nice big thick candles, right, bullish displacement higher, and it will respect bullish order flow, right? So what I mean by that is it will come back to this fair value gap and continue higher. However, since price did not disrespect this fair value gap, rather respected it, we assume on price continuing lower, right? And another confluence that we have is obviously a body close below this low. Now we have this volume imbalance that has my interest, right? Now as price respects this volume imbalance, we anticipate on this low being broken and price making its way to this volume imbalance and this IDR, right? So now let's jump on the daily and let's help and look at this in a fractal nature. So on the daily, as we get this strong rejection, right, we're getting our displacement lower, fair value gaps being created, perfect. Now we have this equal highs, right? On the daily, it's just equal highs. However, we know on the high time frame, the weekly, it's a fair value gap, right? So when you know there's a weekly fair value gap up here, you will know you shouldn't be taking these sweeps here, right? Now, as we get this mitigation, we get previous candle sweeps and displacement, or not really displacement lower, but you do get bearish price action, right? So what I mean by that is this is being disrespected, this swing low, and price is making itself lower and lower, making its way lower and lower. Now, as you get this first confirmation of this swing low being disrespected, price, what does it do is it creates a fair value gap here, right? So now what you can do is enter off this fair value gap, confirm it in a 15-minute, and target this low. So let me just make this chart a bit cleaner. So on the daily, we're still getting bearish price action, right? Price is not going bullish, right? It may leave bullish fair value gaps, right? But that's for what? To make its way to this weekly volume imbalance, right? Let me just label that for you guys. Weekly volume imbalance. So now you can actually capitalize on this bullish move here, as as price was disrespecting a weekly fair value gap here. We anticipate, wow, what the fuck? We anticipate on price making its way to this weekly volume imbalance, right? And since we're working with the daily, time frame, this is still significant price action to make a lot of money, right? Now, as price make a lot of money, right? So now on the daily, right, as we aren't disrespecting this swing high, right? However, we do have this internal swing high that gets disrespected. Perfect, that's fine. Now, however, we do, again, you gotta understand the candlestick, right? If we're disrespecting this and then we're getting bullish candles like that, obviously it's not holding, and we are probably going to make our way to, some higher highs or whatever, right? But since there is no reason, since there is, I don't know what I'm saying, we'll make blah blah blah. So now since we get this rejection here, right, again, candlestick signs, right, think logically, is this bullish price action? No. All right, now, and to help us, this fair value gap is clearly not holding. All right, so now we are anticipating on price going lower, where, again, one volume imbalance here, monthly IGR there, and a monthly fair value gap down there. Now on the 1 hour, right, so all the weekly confirmations, right, or the weekly areas, we can confirm that in a 1 hour. Right, so here we get this weekly fair value gap, right? We're mitigating this. Your first entry here is a total soup. This is your total soup, right? So the liquidation of these highs. Your second entry is this fair value gap right here, just like that. Perfect. Now your first TP is again this low, 2.81R. Then you could partial as you go lower and lower and lower, right? So that's your one entry there. And as price retraces, right, you could wait for a bearish fair value gap, right, or a 4-hour fair value gap, bearish, and take it lower. Here we get the same shit. So we get this mitigation here, and we get no displacement, no fair value gaps from this high to this low. That's fine. However, we're still breaking down lower, right? And we still have the anticipation of price taking some sort of low, right? Because we are in a weekly volume imbalance, right? So now we could capitalize on this move right here. Look for a fair value gap. You can have it there, and your stop loss can be, you could be up there, right? Just above this high. Why? So if we have above there, your RR might not be the best, right? But that's fine. If your target is down here, you're still banking 3R, and you're playing it very safe. However, if you're a bit more aggressive, you want quick profits, whatever, you can have it down there. This is much more risky though, and then your TP can be there, or wherever you want it, right? But I would say have your stop loss above this swing high. But again, if price doesn't respect this, it will most likely just take all this, right? So you can have 50%, whatever. So that's your second entry, right? Say partial, whatever, that's 3R there. On the 1 hour. Now, where we can use 4 hour, right, is when 1 hour looks messy, right? So let me quickly do this. So we're still in this weekly volume imbalance, right? 4 hour. So we get this. What's this? Alright, so on the 1 hour, right? As price comes up, liquidates highs, whatever, right? And displaces lower. I do like this displacement, right? So we are disrespecting swing lows here and continuing bearish. Now we have this fair value gap, right? Again, but however, this might not look well on the 1 hour. We now go on the 4 hour, and again, it's still the same area, right? It's still the same area, but now it just makes much more sense. Now we know it should respect this fair value gap here. Have that there. Now we go on the 5 minute to confirm it, right? So on the 5 minute right here to confirm it. What are you looking for? A bearish fair value gap, just like this. Bang, right? Your first TP can be this low here, 3R, and partial as you go, right? And again, since our bias is still short, right? As you continue, you start entering more trades, knowing your setups and whatever, you can let runners run, right? So this can go to 30R, 40R, and so on, right? So even if you have a very light position running, you're still making a bit of money, right? But that's pretty much how I make my bias, and that's pretty much my whole system, I guess.